Facebook as well, and then we will get started as promised. I think we are live. It says live video started. If you are here, hello, good morning, have a lovely Sunday morning. Give me some hearts or something in the comments so I can see you are here. It's really hard when you do lives because it says you're online, but I don't know if we are. Hello to everybody joining us on Instagram. Hello to everybody joining us on Facebook. Okay, this morning we are going to be talking all about from passenger to driver. So I've been with you for the last couple of days. We've talked about speed with the dog, like how quickly they respond, how quickly we have to react. We've talked about why exercising, getting them faster and fitter can actually be the worst thing you could possibly do for them. And today we want to talk about where the handler actually sits with all this, okay? Hello everybody, welcome. Okay, so if you've been with me for day 1 and 2, type day 1 and 2 in the comments. If you haven't seen them, you can find them in our replays. You can find them in our reels if you're on Instagram. You can find them on our podcast, Found It, Fetched It. You can tell it's Sunday morning. I'm drinking my tea as quickly as I can, trying to wake up and get ready for the day ahead. Okay, so let's talk about where the handler sits in all this. And I know lots of you will be like, well, it's obvious where the handler sits. We are the ones who are working with the dog. But there tends to be a passenger versus driver mindset. And what I mean by that is, and what we're going to be talking today about, is timing. Our gun dogs need us to time things correctly, and it can be across a huge range of things, and it's a skill that we need to learn. Hello Kathy, 1 and 2, thank you Kathy for joining with us for those, and for Joe on Instagram. So it is an absolute timing thing, and when we are learning how to train gun dog, we don't always know exactly where we should step in, where we should correct, but there's also some other areas where we really may be off with our timing, right? So passenger mode with our dogs, I like to think of is doing nothing. And I don't mean like doing nothing, like standing there for 30 minutes just looking at them as they run crazily around a field. I'm not on about that. I'm on about the fact that we are thinking a lot. We're assessing, like we spoke about this week, consequence, risk, the fallout of doing something. And those couple of seconds are the couple of seconds where the dog is left with no direction. Let's talk about it in the way we've been talking about supercars all week and driving. It's like taking your hands off the wheel and then just hoping you won't crash. Like if you think about that, we wouldn't do it in the car, but we do it with the dog. That step back and let the dog take control. And we can't do that. You certainly can't do it with most dogs. You certainly can't do it with a gun dog or highly active dog that has been trained to do a job. Because in that time, its mind is going to make the decisions for us. We've talked about what we talk about within the LWDG, which is our framework, ETERO squared, which sounds loads. Like I say, let's make it easy. 2 working as 1. The one on top is the idiot. That came from my dad. It's a long legacy of it being said. It came from riding horses. He used to say it to me all the time. In other words, it's you that's got to get it right for the horse to get it right. And it's the same for our dogs. It's us that's got to get it right for the dog to get it right. And we need to work on that. Dogs process environments immediately, like really, really quickly, right? So we have to be ready for that because we have to deal with the outcome, the fallout, the consequence. So if we are too long processing the consequence or perceived consequence, that can leave us in a really scary space. And I don't mean scary like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. I mean like, you think about it. A dog chasing a deer can be a field away real fast. Now, if you've given them that time, you then trying to correct that situation is so much harder, okay? So we've got to be not on them in a harsh or abusive way, but we have to keep up with our dogs. We have to keep up with the process. Action will happen, and by the time you act, if the moment has already passed, they could have rewarded themselves for the behavior they just gave themselves. So what I mean by that is this. If they've gone across the field after a hare, had a thoroughly lovely time, and then it's taken you too long to respond, they've really enjoyed that chase, that hunt, and then they're like, oh, that was fab. I don't mind coming back now, hopefully. If they are the type of dogs, they'll come back when you do respond. If they don't come back, that's even worse. But what we need to do is be like, on the situation. And I know you're probably sitting there Sunday morning, like me, cup of tea, trying to wake up, thinking, how the heck am I meant to be on something that is like it's taking drugs? It is like 9,000 mile an hour, right? I totally get it. But it's about us working with the mechanics of the dog and getting the dog to give us time. Now, this is the bit that maybe isn't explained completely in dog training. You might not be able to react at the speed the dog does. What you can do, absolutely, and we teach this all the time, is teach the dog to give you the time. Now, that's quite a interesting concept, isn't it? I can't make the decisions as fast as the dog, but what I can do is teach the dog steadiness and self-control, two very different things, so that they give me a couple of seconds before they do something in which I have time to process. So let's think about that and what that actually gives us. There's such a breathing space, isn't it? Think about what it means when your dog doesn't just go do what it wants to do, but instead it goes, what do you want me to do? Now, if you stand there like a scarecrow and don't give direction for too long, he'll probably still make up his mind to go after hare, deer, whatever, let's use them. But that space is normally enough time for us to go, and here's the next thing I want you to do. It gives us the time to drive the car. So if you really would love to drive your car, let's put a drive in the comments so I know that you're staying with me and what I'm talking about. That little bit of time where you want to take control, you want to drive the dog in front of you. So dogs don't wait for uncertainty to resolve. They don't look at you and go, you're not sure, ma'am? Okay, I'll just wait here while you decide. They don't give it to us. If the direction doesn't arrive early, they will accelerate. I can see you all can drive on Instagram. I can see it coming out on Facebook as well. Yeah, you all want to drive. And the dog will give you the time to drive if we can just inbuild them so that they are not responding so fast. Okay, so a high-powered engine without steering doesn't slow down, right? So you really have to be there. You really have to be with the dog. And it's not about dominance. Like people are like, oh, to lead the dog is dominant, or to do this with the dog is dominant. I actually don't think it is. I absolutely believe it's a partnership. If you've trained your dog well to wait for your cue and they go, what do you want, ma'am? And you go, oh, I want you to do this now, fella. I say fella because mine are boys. But that is teamwork. That is not dominance. That is that space for you to both really, really love the time out together. So let's talk about where influence is actually lost. The influence wasn't lost when the dog runs. So when your dog is bolting across the field, that's not where you lost the influence. You lost it before it, right? So let's think about that. You lost it in the seconds before. The environment shifted, the dog noticed, you noticed later the thoughts that you had, and the dog commits. And what I mean by commits is when a dog's made a decision, and that can work for you or against you. If you've trained your dog well and you send him out on a retrieve, like if it's a good, well-trained dog, he'll go and do it. If it's a dog that commits to doing what it wants to do, not what you want to do, you can send it out on a retrieve and then suddenly it's bogging off over to the side of the field to sniff the hedgerow. And you're like, well, you didn't do what I asked, but it did what it wanted to do. You see what happened there? It didn't commit to the line we gave it. So we need that timing gap and we need the commitment from the dog to work with us. This is another timing challenge because we have loads of people who are like, where do I reward? Do I reward at this point? Do I reward at that point? We see loads of people who reward at such a wrong point, they're actually rewarding the bad behaviour or the unwanted behaviour, for want of a better word. Reward doesn't help the dog decide what to do next, as in bribe. Reward confirms they made the correct decision, right? Think about that. You reward for a correct decision. You do not reward for bribe. Now, when a puppy's little and you use it as a little lure to get the right place, yes, that's a little bit different. But we're talking about most dogs when they're out. We are not rewarding for the wrong thing. And this can be the problem with if we scatter feed to get attention back and things, we're rewarding for the behaviour. The behaviour was they were ignoring us. We scatter feed and reward for ignoring us. So think about that in mentality. If you completely ignored a family member, and then they were like, here we are, here's loads of sweets, for completely ignoring everything I just said, you'd be like, okay, they want me to ignore them, and that would become a learned behaviour. Yeah, that analogy is not very good for a Sunday morning. I make no excuses for it. I just haven't woke up yet completely. I should have made my Sunday morning call like 11 to give me a little bit more time. Okay, so if you reward incorrectly, you teach the wrong behaviour. So think about this now with your dog. Have you inadvertently given them like rewards for the wrong behaviour? And that can be things like you tell the dog not to get up on the settee, you give in and they lay next to you. So they got rewarded for the wrong behaviour. And it's not a judgment because we all do it. Tell the dog not to scrounge while you're eating your food, and then you're popping things under the table and you rewarded for the wrong behaviour. And then you get frustrated next time it's up on the settee or at your foot under the table when you're eating. You caused that. You rewarded them for it in the end. It didn't matter how long they had to persevere for it. You gave them what they wanted, okay? Our experts go into this in far better and far more, shall I say, expert advice ways. But I'm telling you, they will tell you, but they'll tell you it better. You've got to reward at the right time. And you've got to anchor the behaviour. You've got to say, this is what I wanted, and it's all about timing. It's about teaching the dog to give you the timing gap, and then when the dog does what you want, give them the reward for doing it correctly. Reward is what tells the dog, yes, that's the right choice, stick with that next time. And if we don't do that, they don't know, okay? They are selfish creatures, as we said on day one, just as we are. We go to work every Monday morning because we are rewarded financially. We go and see our best friend because we are rewarded emotionally. We're all selfish, not in a horrific bad way, but in a way of we like things to be things that we like, if that makes sense. Okay, it's about our earlier decisions that allow us to reward at the right time. So, if we've done it in the right order, we should have had something change in the environment, we gave the next direction, the next cue, the dog took the next cue, we reward for doing what we wanted, not what they potentially were going to do. Do you see the pattern there? Give me some like thumbs up or pattern in the comments if you know what I mean. The dog sees a change or wants to change. It looks to you before it makes that change. You quickly respond and say, oh, sit fella. And they stay there and you reward for that, or get out, or whatever cue it is that you're working on. Okay, so driving your dog, directing your dog isn't force. It is an amazing way to build teamwork. And this is what we talked about yesterday, about just getting them faster, fitter is not helping you. Working with them, teamwork, doing what gun dogs want to do is so good for them. You don't wait until you're sliding in the car to steer, right? You make sure you step in first. You don't like make it that the dog has done the wrong thing inadvertently and then you're in a position where you don't like the dog. Because loads of people say, and I can see patterns being written in the comment, loads of people say to us, and then loads of us feel it sometimes, especially when we knew it all, I don't think my dog likes me, or I'm ruining my dog, or I'm not good enough for my dog, or all these sort of like really sad things where the owner feels that there is an absolute breakdown with the dog. I promise you there's not a breakdown with the dog if you learn to drive them properly. In fact, you will be so strong that it's not true. A dog, once it knows what you want, is such a joy to take out because it is amazing and it fills you with pride. It's just getting to that. Okay, so one instruction, one direction, know what you want from the dog, let the dog do what you want it to do, reward it. All about timing. We're not going to change things halfway through. We're not going to send them out and then decide, oh, we're stopping you, we're doing this, unless that's what we want to do for an older dog where we're changing direction. But with a young dog, a novice dog, when we're a novice handler, we don't want to be confused now by going like sit, stay, wait, act, like yabbering at them. We've talked about that this week. Okay, most training focuses on what to do after the behaviour, right? and very little training focuses on what to do before and what to do up here before, and they are so critical to the outset. And that's why people who go to classes are great, they're brilliant, they're fab for your dog. Group work is all really, really good, teaches them even more steadiness and self-control around other dogs. It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. But getting your timings right, understanding how all this works is really important for you as well, because when you step away from the class, that's when you get undone. If you've not worked all this out and know this stuff for yourself, you have got to know this stuff for yourself. Okay, so, oh my God, I've gone straight over my 10 minutes again. Sorry about this, guys. I always say I'll do 10 minutes and then I find that I'm talking and going through loads of ideas, and then we're nearly at 20 minutes and it's nearly turning into a masterclass in itself. The passenger to driver shift is what changes your relationship with the dog. You cannot be the passenger. You have to be the driver. In this masterclass that we've got on Thursday, we're going to speak to you about this, right? We're going to slow it right down and we're going to show you how to spot how to get this to all gel together, and we will give you training that will absolutely understand more about you and your dog and how all of it needs to work in order for you to be the driver of teamwork that you absolutely love to do. If you want to stop your supercar from running away from you and like, just come join us live. You will absolutely love it. I promise you, I'll be far more awake than I am right now. The link, if you are on Facebook, is in the comments. On Instagram, if you write Shoestring in the comments, it will give you the link. Same on Facebook. If you write Shoestring, it will give you the link. We have a free giveaway that we give you just for signing, and we will give you absolute training. You have my promise of that. This isn't a masterclass where we need to sell the membership. You know our membership, you know what we do. This is all about us giving back to the community, back to people who aren't members, and giving you stuff to start 2026 an amazing way where you really are in the driver's seat. I'll speak to you all soon. I'm going to go and finish my cup of tea now real fast. Have a fabulous day. Join me tomorrow, 10 a.m, when we're going to be talking about the next step in driving your dog. Bye, everybody.